Anna sat in the dressing room. Her phone was in her hand, but her fingers weren't moving. She wasn't scrolling. She wasn't reading. She was just staring at the black screen. Outside, the lights of the studio buzzed. People passed by the door. Laughter echoed. Makeup artists and assistants carried on with their routine. But inside that little room, silence wrapped around her like a thick fog. She didn't need words. She didn't want noise. She just needed to breathe without breaking. She had smiled all morning. She had posed for cameras. She had laughed at jokes that weren't funny. But the moment she closed that door behind her, her shoulders fell. Her chest tightened. She leaned forward, elbows on her knees, hands clasped together like she was praying. Maybe she was. Not to any god in particular. Maybe just to the silence. She hadn't told anyone what happened last night. She didn't even cry. The call came just before midnight. Her brother's voice trembled on the other end. Their mother had collapsed. Something in her brain. The doctors were still running tests. No one knew what it was. All Anna could do was listen, nod, and say she'd call back. Then she sat there, staring at her bedroom wall for hours, frozen, powerless. Thousands of miles from Havana, and not a single thing she could do to help today. She showed up because she was supposed to. That's what professionals do. They show up, they pretend. They hide the cracks behind red lipstick and designer coats. But right now she wasn't hiding, not from herself. Not in this quiet room. And then there was a knock. Soft, not hurried, not loud. Just gentle. She didn't answer. She didn't move. Whoever was on the other side waited for a moment. Then the door opened just a little. Don, there he was. Keanu, he didn't say anything. Not at first. He just stepped in slowly, holding a cup of tea with both hands. Steam curled up from the rim. He looked at her like he already knew. Not the details. Not the story. But something. Like his heart had recognized the heaviness in hers. Anna looked up. Her eyes were tired. Mascara faintly smudged. Her lips parted, but no words came out. She didn't need to speak. Neither did he. Keanu walked to the little table by the mirror and set the tea down carefully. He didn't force a smile. He didn't ask if she was okay. He didn't fill the room with empty kindness. He just sat down across from her. Close, but not too close. Still silent. And in that silence, something shifted. Anna looked at the cup. Chamomile. She recognized the scent. Her mother used to make it for her every night before bed. Her throat tightened again. This time not from pain, but from memory. From warmth. From the way Keanu chose that specific tea without knowing, or maybe knowing more than she thought. Finally, she whispered, "How did you know?" He answered softly. Sometimes silence speaks loudest. Those words hung in the air. It's not heavy, but real. Honest. Keanu leaned forward, elbows on his knees, mirroring her posture. Two people sitting in a room full of nothing. And yet everything. Anna closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them again. She stared at him, not as a co-star, not as a friend, but as something else, a reminder that even in moments when the world forgets to care, someone might still show up with nothing but tea and silence. She reached for the cup. Her fingers brushed against the warm ceramic, and for the first time since last night, her hands stopped trembling. Outside, the world continued. Lights flickered, voices rose and fell. But inside that quiet room, a calm was building. Anna took a sip. "You ever get tired of being strong all the time?" she asked, voice barely above a breath. Keanu gave a soft nod. "All the time." Anna let out a small laugh. Not joyful, but real. Tired, but alive. They sat there. Minutes passed. No need to fill the silence. No need to perform, just two people being still. Then the knock came again, louder this time. The assistant director reminding Anna of her call time. She looked at the door, then back at Keanu. "You can take your time," he said gently. "They'll wait." Anna hesitated, but then she stood. Not because she had to, but because she felt ready to. Just enough. Keanu stood too. He didn't offer a hug, didn't overstep, just offered presence. Sometimes presence is the loudest kind of love. Before she left, She looked at him and whispered, "Thank you." He gave a small smile. "You're not alone." The door closed behind her. And for the first time today, she believed it. The hallway felt longer than usual. Anna walked slowly, her fingers still warm from the tea. The soft tap of her shoes on the floor echoed with a rhythm that wasn't rushed. She passed crew members, assistants, makeup artists, but none of them saw her. They looked, but they didn't see. Only one person had seen her today, really seen her, and he didn't ask questions. He brought silence. And her mind was still with her mother. Lying in that hospital bed, thousands of miles away. The image played in her thoughts like a black and white film. Wires, monitors, pale skin, lips too still. Anna hadn't asked her brother for an update yet. She couldn't. Not before this scene. Not before pretending again. The director called her name. She nodded, took her place, said the lines, smiled between takes. She did everything right. Every cue, every gesture, but deep inside, she was floating. Like a balloon slowly slipping from the hand of a child. Drifting higher and further away from the ground, Keanu watched her from behind the camera. He didn't say much between takes. He didn't need to. But every now and then, when she looked over, he was already looking at her. Not in a way that demanded attention, but in a way that offered steadiness, like a lighthouse that never blinked. After the final take of the morning, she stepped off the set and headed back to her dressing room. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Her heart jumped. She pulled it out with shaky fingers. It was a message from her brother. She opened her eyes for a moment. "Doctor's still unsure. I'm staying with her. Love you." Anna's knees almost gave out. Not from relief, not from fear, from everything in between. Her chest ached. She sat on the floor just outside the dressing room door and leaned back against the wall. People walked by, but no one stopped, until Keanu did. He didn't ask. What happened? He just sat down next to her, back against the same wall. His presence like a quiet blanket over a shivering body. Anna showed him the text. He read it and gave a slow nod. "It's something," he said softly. "Not nothing." She nodded too. "Yeah, not nothing." They sat in silence again. People passed. A few looked confused. Some stared, but neither of them moved. 'Cause in that moment, the floor was sacred. It was a place of rest, of surrender. "You always do that?" Anna asked after a while. "Do what?" "Just show up like that, without noise, without needing anything back." Keanu looked up at the ceiling, then down at his hands. "Someone once did it for me," he said, "when my sister got sick. I was alone in a hallway just like this. And a grip came over, sat down beside me, and handed me a bottle of water. Didn't say a word. Didn't have to." Anna didn't say anything, just listened. "Sometimes you don't remember what people said," he continued. "Remember how they sat beside you when the world got too loud." Anna's eyes stung again, but she blinked quickly. She wasn't ready to cry. Not here. "Thank you," she whispered. Keanu looked at her and nodded. "You said that already. I'll say it again." He smiled, soft and tired. "Okay." The assistant called her name again from down the hall. Another scene. Another mask to wear. Anna stood slowly. She looked down at him, sitting there like stillness itself. And then she did something she hadn't planned. She held out her hand. He looked up at her, a little surprised, but he took it. She pulled him gently to his feet. "Come visit me later," she asked. "Not for anything, just to sit." "Of course." And just like that, she walked back toward the noise. That evening, for the cameras were off and the crew had cleared out, Anna returned to her dressing room. It was quiet again. It's the same silence from before, but it didn't feel as sharp. It felt gentler, like it had been softened by shared stillness. She sat on the couch, this time not hunched over. Her phone buzzed. Another message from her brother. "Doctor says she's stable. Still sleepy, but breathing steady. I told her you're sending love." Anna exhaled, long and deep. She stared at the ceiling. Her heart didn't feel whole. But it wasn't shattered either. Another knock came, soft. Same rhythm, She smiled this time. Come in. Keanu stepped inside, holding a small paper bag. No tea this time, he said. I brought bread. She laughed. You laughed. It caught even her by surprise. Bread, Cuban. Found a bakery near here. You're impossible. Nah, just paying attention. She took the bag, broke off a small piece. The smell of home, smell of her mother's kitchen. It hit her like a soft wave. This was my favorite as a kid, she said quietly. I guessed, he said. Double quotes, how? You looked like you missed home more than anything today. She nodded slowly. I did. They sat again, this time on the couch. Two quiet souls in a quiet room, you know? Anna said after a pause, people think kindness is loud. They think it's grand gestures, big speeches, shiny gifts. Keanu looked at her, but it's not. No, it's bread. It's tea. It's silence. It's being seen. He smiled again. You see people too? Maybe today you reminded me how? The room grew still again, but it was a good still, a comforting one. The kind that wraps around you like a warm coat on a cold day. They didn't know what would come tomorrow, or the day after. Her mother's health, the endless work, the weight of being someone the world expects to always be strong. But for tonight, she had tea, she had bread, she had quiet company, and that was enough. The next morning arrived too fast. Anna didn't sleep much. Her body was in the hotel bed, but her mind was across the ocean. She kept seeing her mother's face, still pale, barely breathing. Then she'd remember the text. Her mother. Opened her eyes. She was stable. Should have brought comfort. But anxiety doesn't work like that. It doesn't let you rest just because good news comes. It makes you wait for the next storm, the next reason to fall apart. Anna stood in front of the mirror, brushing her hair slowly. Sunlight streamed through the hotel window, but it didn't feel warm. It felt distant, like a memory. She wore a soft white sweater and jeans. Simple. Not for the cameras. Today's scenes would be light, but she didn't feel light. Not even close. Her phone vibrated again. She grabbed it quickly, breath caught in her chest. Another text from her brother. She asked for you. Whispered your name. Anna froze. Tears didn't fall, but her eyes flooded. It's just that simple line, those few words. Her mother asked for her. It pierced deeper than any pain she'd felt these last 2 days. The kind of ache that lives under the ribs. Then came a knock, soft, steady, familiar. She walked to the door and opened it. Keanu stood there again, this time holding 2 paper cups of coffee. I thought maybe today was a coffee day, he said. Anna gave the smallest nod. You're right, they didn't speak for a few seconds. She stepped back, letting him in. The hotel room smelled faintly of jasmine lotion and untouched breakfast. She asked for me, and I said quietly. Keanu sat down in the armchair near the window. That means she's thinking of you. But I'm not there, she said. Here, he looked at her with soft eyes. I know, and if something happens? He waited, giving space. I won't forgive myself. Keanu placed his coffee on the table. You're here because you have commitments. What? That doesn't make you any less a daughter. You love her. And she knows that. Even oceans don't block that kind of love. Anna wiped her eyes with the sleeve of her sweater. You believe that? She asked. I do, he said. I've lived it. She sat on the edge of the bed. When your sister was sick, do you ever feel helpless? Every second, replied. Anna looked at him, truly looked. He didn't speak like someone guessing at emotions. He spoke like someone who had already bled them dry. Someone who had stood in the fire and learned how to breathe through the smoke. What got you? Through it, she asked. He took a breath, trying to be strong all the time. Anna looked down at her coffee cup. The steam rose slowly. She whispered, but people expect me to be. I know. That's the trap. She raised her eyes. And what if I stopped pretending? Keanu leaned forward, elbows on his knees. You'll be surprised how many people show up when you're just honest. Anna held that thought. It sat deep in her chest. Heavier than sadness, but maybe more useful. On set that afternoon, things didn't go as planned. The weather shifted. Clouds rolled in, One of the camera lenses malfunctioned. Someone dropped a prop. The director snapped at an intern. Tension built like a storm about to break. Anna stood on her mark. The scene required her to laugh, to be lighthearted and full of joy, but she couldn't fake it. Not this time, the director shouted. Cut, Anna! We need more energy, more sparkle. She blinked, staring past the camera. Anna. The director barked again, and then something inside her broke. She stepped back, slowly, then turned and walked off set. Gasps echoed. Whispers rose behind her. She didn't run. She didn't cry. She just walked back to her dressing room and closed the door. She sat down, not in a performance, not in weakness. A minute passed. 2, then a knock. She didn't speak. But the door opened anyway. Keanu? Again. He stepped inside. This time with no tea, no bread, no coffee. Just himself. I didn't mean to walk out like that, Anna said. You don't need to explain, he replied. They're all probably thinking. I'm dramatic, spoiled, unstable. Keanu sat beside her. Let them think. Anna leaned back against the wall. I've never done that before. Just walked away. Maybe today you needed to, but I'm supposed to be the professional. It's the one everyone relies on. Looked at her gently. You're also human. She closed her eyes. After a while, she said, You think I should quit this film and go home? He paused. No, he said. I think you should keep showing up, but not for them. For you, in whatever version you are that day. She opened her eyes. Even if that version is a mess, especially then. Anna gave a tired laugh. Really do say the right things. I just say the true things. They sat in silence again. Then a knock harder this time. An assistant peeked in. Anna, director says, we can reschedule the scene. Take as much time as you need, she nodded. The assistant nodded back and closed the door. Anna looked at Keanu. Did you say something to him? Keanu shrugged. Just reminded him you're a person before you're a performance. Keanu was quiet. You didn't have to do that, she whispered. I know, but you did. Keanu stood. You don't owe anyone perfection. You always show up when I break. He paused at the door. That's not true, he said. I show up before. Then he left the room. And for the first time Anna smiled just a little, just enough. That night the rain began. Not heavy, not violent. Just a soft, steady rain that made the city lights shimmer through the hotel window. Anna sat in bed, her legs tucked under the blanket, a single lamp glowing on the nightstand. The TV played. Something forgettable in the background, low volume, no real attention. Her phone rested beside her, untouched. No new messages. Her brother hadn't updated her. But no news, she told herself, might mean good news. She held a notebook in her lap. Not for work, just blank pages. She had opened it hours ago, hoping words might come. They didn't. Only thoughts. Only memories, small ones, like her mother's hands braiding her hair, her mother humming while cooking rice, her mother telling her, when she was 12, never lose your softness, even when life gets hard. And life was hard now. But that softness? Somehow, it was still there. Bruised, shaken, but there. Her. Phone buzzed. Her breath caught. A new message. She's asking when you're coming home. She keeps whispering me, Nina. Anna held the phone to her chest and closed her eyes. Tears. Came this time, not loud, not desperate. Just slow, quiet tears that rolled down and disappeared into her blanket. Someone knocked. It was nearly midnight. She wiped her face and walked to the door barefoot. She opened it. Keanu again. No tea this time, just him. He saw her eyes. Didn't comment. She stepped aside. Came in. They didn't turn on the lights. It's just the lamp already glowing. Anna sat on the couch. Keanu sat beside her. She's asking for me, Anna whispered. She misses you. Anna nodded. I want to. Go home, she said. I think I need to. Keanu leaned forward, elbows on his knees. Then go. I feel like I'm letting everyone down. You're not. I'll have to rewrite scenes. Rearrange schedules. Recast, maybe. He looked at her. They'll survive. She stared at him. You think I should leave? Thank you. should listen to whatever voice inside you is the quietest. Anna closed her eyes. That voice is saying, go, then go. She opened her eyes. Will you be okay? I'm not the one who needs you right now, he said. Her hand reached out, resting gently on his. You've been there for me. I'll still be here. The room fell quiet again. After a while, she asked, You believe everything happens? For a reason? He thought about it. Not everything, he said slowly. But I believe we find meaning in what happens. Even the hard parts. So what's the meaning in this? That you're being pulled home? Not just to your mother, but to yourself. Anna took that in. Slowly, fully. Will you walk me out tomorrow? She asked. Of course. The next morning, the sky was clear. The rain had passed. The streets were wet but shining. She packed her things quietly. No rush. No panic. Just certainty. Her suitcase clicked shut. She checked the flight again. 10:20 a.m. She would be in Havana by nightfall. Keanu arrived just as she zipped up her coat. He held a small brown paper bag. One. More for the road, he said. She took it. Inside was a warm roll of Cuban bread, just like the first time. Anna smiled. You're becoming predictable. I'll take that as a compliment. They walked down the hallway together. People on set were surprised to see her with a suitcase. Whispers began. No one challenged at the door. She stopped. She turned to him. You changed something in me, she said. I didn't do anything, he replied. Exactly, she said, and that's what changed me. He looked at her for a long second, then gently reached into his pocket. He handed her a folded piece of paper. Don't open it now, he said. When? You'll know. Anna smiled again, this time full, honest, not tired. She leaned forward, hugged him, a real hug. Long, silent. Then she walked out hours later. Out on the plain, as the clouds parted and the ocean stretched below her, she reached into her coat and pulled out the paper. She unfolded it, just one line, written in simple ink. Presence is the purest form of love. Anna stared at the words. She read them again and again. Then she closed her eyes and whispered to herself. He was right. The sky over Havana was soft when Anna arrived. The sun had already dipped behind the hills, yet the air still held warmth, like a memory that refused to fade. Taxi drivers called out names in a mix of English and Spanish. Music drifted from somewhere. Nearby, the city felt alive, buzzing with color and sound, but to Anna, everything was slower, quieter. Like her heart had pressed a pause button the moment she stepped off the plane. She didn't have much luggage. She hadn't brought makeup. Didn't worry about clothes. She was here for something deeper. For someone who had whispered her name across oceans. Her mother, as the taxi weaved through old streets lined with cracked paint and blooming flowers. Anna looked out the window, her fingers tracing invisible lines on the glass. The last time she came home, everything had felt smaller. The rooms, the chairs, the town itself. But this time, everything felt vast again. Emotions did that expanded space, deepened moments. She reached the hospital just before nightfall. Her brother met her at the entrance. Didn't say much. Didn't have to. He just wrapped his arms around her in a quiet hug and whispered, She's been waiting. They walked down a long hallway, the scent of antiseptic clinging to the air. Nurses smiled gently as they passed. One of them touched Anna's arm. She's been asking for you all day, she said. Anna nodded, her throat too tight to speak. When? She stepped into the room, her breath caught. Her mother was there, small, fragile, but alive. Her chest rose and fell slowly.
Yes.
Her eyes were half open, glazed but warm. And when they met Anna's, they lit up like old stars rediscovering light. Me Nina, she whispered. Anna rushed to her side, dropped the bag, took her mother's hand. Mommy, she said softly, brushing a strand of hair from her forehead. I'm here. Her mother smiled, faint and slow. I knew you would come. Anna's tears came quietly. I wanted to come sooner. I was scared. I waited, her mother said, barely audible, like I used to wait by the window when you stayed late with friends. I always knew you'd come back. Anna rested her forehead against her mother's hand. I'm not leaving. Not this time. They stayed like that for hours. No need for stories. It's just presence. The next few days were filled with gentle rhythms. Anna helped her mother eat, helped the nurses turn her, read her poetry, and told her stories from the set. They laughed. Sometimes they cried. Mostly, they sat in quiet understanding. One afternoon, as they sat watching the rain outside the hospital window, Anna's mother said, "You have your father's eyes, but your heart. Your heart is my mother's, soft but strong." Anna smiled, holding back tears. "I always thought I got it from you." Her mother reached out, slow and weak, but her touch still held power. Maybe we both got it from her. That night, after her mother fell asleep, Anna stepped outside for air. The hospital courtyard was silent. The rain had stopped, but the ground was still wet. She took out her phone, opened messages, scrolled to the top. Keanu, she typed slowly. "She's stable." She smiled today. "Thank you for pushing me to come." She hesitated and added, "You were right. Presence is everything." The reply didn't come instantly, but when it did, it was simple. "I'm proud of you." Anna smiled at the screen. Then a second message appeared. "If you ever want company, even in silence, I'm here." She didn't reply. She just stared at those words, letting them wrap around her like a blanket. 2 days later, the hospital gave her mother the green light to return home under care. Anna brought her back to the house she grew up in. The floors still creaked. The tiles were still chipped. But to her, it was the most beautiful place in the world. They sat in the kitchen one evening, Anna helping her mother sip warm soup. Her mother looked at her and said, "You carry sadness in your eyes, but you don't let it own you." Anna paused. "I'm learning from someone," her mother asked, a small knowing glimmer in her eyes. Anna smiled gently. "Yes, from someone." Her mother didn't ask more. She just nodded. "Good. Life is too heavy to carry alone." And for a brief second, Anna felt like she was 12. In this same kitchen, with that same warm voice reminding her that love wasn't noise, wasn't perfection. It was showing up. It was staying when things got hard. It was holding someone's silence without trying to fix it. As her mother drifted off to sleep that night, Anna stepped into the hallway, sat down on the old wooden bench and pulled out her phone again. She typed only 3 words. "I miss you." She didn't need to say more because she knew wherever he was, he'd feel it. 3 weeks passed. The days in Havana felt slower, richer. Mornings began with the sound of roosters and the clatter of pots in the neighbor's kitchen. Afternoons were quiet, filled with books, soft music, and the rhythm of her mother's breath. As she napped, Anna didn't check the news. She didn't open scripts. She didn't wear makeup. She walked barefoot. She sat in the garden. She remembered who she was without cameras pointed at her. Her mother was healing slowly but surely. Some days she had more energy. Some days she drifted between sleep and silence. But each morning she would ask, "Did you dream?" And each night she would whisper, "Thank you for coming home." Anna answered the same way every time. "You're the reason I remembered how." Keanu never asked for daily updates. He never pressed. But every few days, she'd receive a message. "Thinking of you," or left some tea at your door figuratively. "And once I saw a woman on set today who laughed just like you. It made me stop for a second." Anna would reply when her heart told her to, not out of duty, but from something gentler. A connection that didn't demand. One evening, as the sunset cast golden light through the old wooden shutters, Anna sat with her mother at the small round table in the living room. They played cards, something they hadn't done in years. Mother was losing badly, but she smiled anyway. "You've gotten better," she said. "You've gotten slower," Anna teased gently. They both laughed. Then her mother grew quiet. Her eyes focused on her daughter. "You're leaving soon, aren't you?" Anna looked down at her cards. "I don't want to." But you will, Anna whispered. Her mother reached across the table and took her hand. You came when I needed you, and you stayed. That's all I'll ever remember. Anna's throat tightened. Promise me something, her mother said. Anything. Don't go back to your old way of moving through the world. What do you mean? Don't rush. Don't fill silence with noise. Don't forget how to be still. Anna nodded slowly. I promise. And she meant it. 4 days later, she returned to the city. The flight was quiet, no fanfare. She wore sunglasses and a loose coat. When she landed, the world felt louder, faster, sharper. But something inside her had changed. The noise couldn't reach her the same way it used to. As she stepped outside the airport, she saw him, Keanu, waiting by the car. He didn't wave, didn't shout. He just stood there. She walked straight toward him, no hesitation. You didn't have to come, she said. Double quotes, I know. They stood facing each other for a moment. Then Anna smiled. I missed your silence. He gave a soft laugh. I've been saving it. They drove through the city slowly. No rush, no radio, just open windows and the hum of traffic. When they arrived at her apartment, he helped carry her bag in. Didn't ask to stay, didn't assume. But before he turned to go, she said, Can you come up, just for tea? He smiled. Never ask. They sat in her kitchen, 2 mugs between them. Chamomile, of course. Anna told him about Havana, the bread, the old bench, her mother's laugh. The way the stars looked brighter there. Keanu listened. Really listened. When she finished, she asked, Did I miss anything here? Only the things that can wait? She nodded. I think I want to wait more often. He raised his cup in a small toast to waiting, to stillness, she replied. They drank in silence, not the heavy kind, not the awkward kind, but the kind that heals. After a while, Yana walked over to a drawer and pulled something out. She handed it to him, a photo. Her and her mother, sitting in the kitchen, both laughing, both full of something more than joy, something like peace. He looked at it carefully. That's presence, he said quietly. Anna nodded. Double quotes. Thank you for teaching me how to return to it, she said. You already knew how, he replied. You just forgot for a while. She leaned back, resting her head against the chair. I think most of us do. Keanu stood, walking to the window. The city lights blinked far below. He turned to her. Can I tell you something? Always. When I sat with you that first day with the tea, I didn't know what to say. I just knew not saying anything felt truer. Anna smiled. It was. I've done a lot of scenes in my life, said a lot of lines, but that moment, sitting there with you in silence, that was one of the realest things I've ever done. She looked at him, tears in her eyes again, but this time they were warm. He walked to the door. Before he left, he turned and said, Anytime you need quiet, you know where to find me. Anna nodded. And anytime you need tea, she replied. My door's open. He smiled once more, then closed the door behind him. She stood in her kitchen, holding the still warm mug. She looked out the window at the world below and whispered to the night. Presence is the purest form of love, and now she knew how to live it.